How's it going, guys? Danomight here, coming to you as always from the Digital Warfare 24/7 forums, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a gameplay of Domination on Underground. And now what I'm going to be doing today actually is focusing on a pretty specific aspect of Call of Duty strategy, and that is going to be MiniMap Awareness. So you can see here that on the minimap I'm sticking pretty close to my friendly players off the spawn. You can see all the green triangles around me, but that's only because I want to establish a secure position at B-Dom. Now as you watch here, let's pause it right here for just a second. You can see that all of the green triangles are pointed towards the C flag pretty much, and that's going to be what I'm going to call a dead zone or a dark zone in this video. Now what I mean by that is that even though you can't see any red dots from a UAV or say someone firing an unsilenced weapon, that's usually what people are looking for when they look at the minimap. But what you also have to look for are dead zones like the one that I'm showing here, and then also where your teammates are looking. So what I usually try to do is I try to move myself so that I'm further apart from my teammates. So let's see what decision I make here. You can see Paul has pretty much the same ideas as me there. I'm playing with Paul, Iconic Homicide, another buddy of mine from the 24/7 forums. But see how, and we'll pause it again here real quick, I've essentially flanked around the side of the dark area, and so you can see all of my teammates are more or less on the B side of the map, and I'm pushing around here on a flank to see if I can catch anyone off guards. Again, I'm pushing into that dark area over in the minimap, and you can see that the green triangles are mostly pointed over towards the C flag, and as an added bonus we have, I think, a UAV, but definitely some people firing unsilenced weapons. So again, there I am making use of my minimap, and let's see what happens from here. So I'm going to be moving around on this flank. I see a guy who pretty much isn't playing at all, take him out, and swing around towards C side. Now a lot of my teammates seem to have had the same idea, to be pushing into their C spawn, and we actually end up flipping the spawns. So at this point I know that, and I'm going to pause it again here, I know that they're going to be spawning back at the A flag. So as I'm capturing the C flag, I'm turning and I'm looking to make sure that no one's coming from that spawn back on the other side of the map to kill me while I'm trying to capture this flag. Now let's see what happens. Sure enough, there's a guy coming and I managed to take him out. Now my teammates here are protecting me, but I managed to get out of a pretty sticky situation. As it turned out, they spawned closer to C than I would have thought. But now we are looking at more people spawning over on the A side. So I take that guy out who's spawning by A, and now I look at the minimap, and I'm going to pause it here. You can see that according to the UAV, they're all spawning in that little side corridor between A and C, but closer to the C side. And I can see that that's another dark area of the map. Even if I didn't have the UAV, I would suspect that they would be spawning over there. So now, as you can see, I'm using the side of this rail car here for cover. Push up, get my specialist streak going there. This guy drops down from above, and fortunately my teammate is there to bail me out as that guy falls down into final stand. Now let's take a look at this situation here, and I'm going to pause it. So again, there really isn't that much indication on the minimap as to where people are, but I know that they hold A flag, so they'll probably be spawning over there, and I can see all my teammates are pointing over towards the A flag. So that is what I'm going to definitely suspect. And so here I go. What I'm going to do is, once again, I'm going to work around the side of the map. And so, yep, I discover a couple enemies here, manage to get that guy with some C4, but that's usually the key. You want to find the dead zones, and then you want to flank around them. Now here I run into the middle of the map, which is a bit of a questionable situation, but there is this little arch tunnel here that actually allows me to anchor myself in the middle of one of the dead zones. So I have enemies spawning in pretty close proximity to me, and I can keep tabs on them both with the UAVs that my teammates are putting up, and then also with the fact that I'm running SitRep Pro and Dead Silence Pro, so I'm able to sound whore very effectively. Now actually I picked up Dead Silence from my specialist package, but so now you can see here, and I'm going to pause it again. Again, there's the dead zone over A. There's maybe an enemy dot over by B, but I can see there that my friendly arrows on the minimap are going to be pointing over towards A-Dom. Now I'm guessing that even though I can't see anyone on the minimap currently, I can't see any red dots over by A-Dom, I'm guessing that my teammates are again more clued in to where the enemy is because they're over in that position. So I'm going to trust them, and now since we have triple capped, I'm going to be a little bit more defensive because one of the best indicators of where the enemy is spawning is going to be which flag they hold. So if there's a triple cap, don't be afraid to just hang back and wait a little bit. Now there I rushed in a little too aggressively. They were still spawning A, but again my teammate manages to bail me out there. So now I can see that based on the dead area and based on the UAV that's up, that they're spawning in the corridor off to the right side of A-Dom. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically set up shop again in this archway because I can tell that they're capping A back, so I'm going to be in a really good situation to cover anyone who comes out of this spawn. Now that chopper kills the couple of them that were on A-Dom, and so now I'm left again with trying to figure out where the enemies are spawning. I see some dots back by A-Dom, so that looks like a pretty good bet. Let's flank around the side of the map. Again, you always want to be facing, and I'm going to pause it here real quick, you always want to be facing towards the dead zones. You want to have your back, if possible, to either the edge of the map or your teammates, or both if possible, to make sure that your back is protected, and you want to be facing where you want to be attacking. Now this is a really smart way to rush because you can always make sure that you're going to have the enemies in front of you lined up with your gun, and let's see how this works out for me here. Now you'll notice I don't get too greedy. I just take the one guy even though there were two, and then I back out, move around, I hear this guy, get him as well. Again, patrolling the edges of those dark areas is what you want to do. Don't push in too far, but do what you can to stop them from breaking out of the spawn and capturing another flag. That is pretty much the essence of how you play domination. So you can see I have this area right outside their spawn locked down. I'm sound whoring them as they come out of A. And at this point I start to realize, hey, I'm actually on a pretty high kill streak. And I'm taking this guy out, I'm sound whoring him, and I'm thinking, geez, I should probably start thinking about getting a MOAB here. So you can see I reload there. It's always a good idea to try to pull back to the sides of the map or to your teammates to try to get off a reload if you feel like there are a lot of guys in that area. So you can see that's basically what I did there. Again, using that mini-map to figure out not only where the hot zones are where you can get kills, but also where the safe zones are where you can retreat to pull off a reload if you need to. So here I am, I'm thinking, okay, I got to figure out how I'm going to get in there, and I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get this MOAB going. So I'm going to pause it right here, and even though we don't have, well, I guess someone just put up a advanced UAV, but even if I hadn't known about that, look at where all my friendlies rather are positioned, and look where all of their arrows are pointing. They're all pointing towards where I can figure out the enemy is spawning. They're all pointed towards that back corridor area, sort of back by A-Dom there. So now I'm going to set up here, and you'll see right there I saw one of my teammates die right in front of me. Now that's another really good way to tell where people are based on your minimap as well. If you see some of those green dots winking out, then you can be darn sure that an enemy is in the proximity unless he killed him from an extremely long distance. So here I am, I'm working around the edges of the dark area, catch some guys coming through the underground tunnel. I'm using the UAV as well as my knowledge that they're going to be spawning in this back corridor because of where my teammates are positioned and the direction that they're looking. If I saw all of my teammates' triangles suddenly spin around and start looking towards C, I'd have a good indication that they'd flip the spawn and that I'd need to start watching my back from another direction. So here I know I've got to be getting really, really close to a MOAB, so I'm definitely playing a little bit more passively. Again, I'm anchoring myself under this archway. This guy knows where I am. He's been trying to kill me all game. He throws a C4 to that side, but nothing doing. I have my trusty MP412. I'm not sure exactly what that pistol is called, but I just wanted a pistol back up there in case I ran out of MP7 ammo briefly, and that ended up being a pretty good choice. So here you can see that all my enemies are pushing into A-Dom, but we're also losing C. They also seem to be at B, so I'm a little panicked here. I'm like, okay, so I'll run into this room to make sure that I get away from them, and bam, I double back on these guys, and there is the MOAB. So guys, just to review a little bit about what we sort of learned today as I pick up a couple more kills on this kill streak, is that when you're looking at your minimap, you don't want to just be focusing on where the red dots are, on where the UAV is marking enemies, and on where people are firing unsilenced weapons. You really want to sort of figure out where are the dead zones where they could be spawning based on where my teammates are. So all the green triangles are on 2 sides of the map, then the enemy is probably on the 3rd side or towards the 3rd flag. Now here I am running around. I drop shot this guy here, but I believe the streak is going to be coming to an end fairly soon. Just remember for the future, guys, that using your minimap is something that you really need to practice, and something that can really give you good awareness for rapid pace rushing and for putting up good streaks like this.